Hey everyone, this is Angela. Welcome back to another episode of Maximizing Your Season of Singleness. And just to let you guys know, if you're watching from the church platform, the church YouTube page, I will be transitioning over to my own channel. I have my own YouTube channel. It's under Surrender for Sanity. And again, that is Surrender for Sanity. And what I will do is comment down below. So if you would just go into the comment section and you'll see my picture there. Just click on the little icon. It'll take you over to my page and you could subscribe there for more videos. This might be the last video, or I may upload one more video over onto the church platform, just so for those that may have missed this video for whatever reason. And I would love it if you guys would subscribe. I do appreciate you. And I hope you guys have had a great week. I'm tired. Honestly, I'm tired. I'm sure I look it as well. I've been training, a little bit of cross training in another position at work. Basically, there are a couple of ladies that are about to retire, not until next year. But when they do, we need to be able to fill in when they're gone. So I've been running around our campus at work, just kind of all over the place, doing a lot more walking than I normally do. So I'm just a bit tired this week. But anyways, nevertheless, I am here to bring you guys just another word of maximizing your season of singleness, or shall I say some information on surrendering for your sanity, surrender for sanity. And what I want to talk about today is self-pity and condemnation, moving past self-pity and condemnation. And I do have my notes here, so I will be looking down here and there, just kind of referring back and forth. So what I will say, it's really easy to get caught up in self-pity and blaming ourselves for things and just kind of talking down to ourselves. And sometimes we don't even recognize when we're doing this. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because God had to show me that that's exactly what I was doing here recently. And the things that I experience are the things that I bring to you guys, just so you'll maybe just have a little bit of comfort in knowing that you're not the only one. I'll put it that way. And maybe when you can't get past some things and you're wondering how, that's what this channel is all about. Surrender for Sanity is about you becoming the person God has created you to be, so you can do what He's called you to do. You want to be able to get the best out of life. That's what we're here for. He put us here for purpose. And even though we all go through things in life, just knowing that once you surrender, not to say surrendering it's going to be easy, because if anything, it might be a little bit harder for you, but it's rewarding because you have God as your Savior. You have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. So that's what this channel is all about. It's just helping you become your best self, surrendering for your sanity, so you don't, just keep on and on that cycle of nothingness, so to speak, just on that treadmill going nowhere. And that's what I was doing for years. But anyways, enough of that. So I just wanted to talk about that today, moving past the self-pity and the condemnation. And reason being, sometimes we get caught up in it, we're wallowing in it, and we're not even recognizing what's going on with us. And what I will say to you is we have to stop visiting that place of pain. That's my first point, is to stop visiting the place of pain. It's so easy to do. And see, what happens is the enemy gets into our minds and he wants us to blame ourselves. I'm not saying don't take responsibility. We must hold ourselves accountable, which is another point we'll get to later. But what I'm saying is don't talk down to yourself. We've all made decisions and done things that we're not proud of. We've made decisions that have led us down a rabbit hole, and now we're trying to dig ourselves out. I have done it. I'm there now trying to dig myself out. And it could be from anything, say maybe overeating And now, your health is at risk, and, it could be diabetes, high blood pressure, just whatever the case may be. Entertaining an ungodly relationship. It could be your spending was out of control, overspending, and now your credit's all messed up, and you're wondering, like, how am I going to get out of this? But I do want you to know that you're not too far gone. The enemy wants you to think that, but you're not. You're never too far gone. As long as you're living, you are never too far gone. So just remember that. And we have to look at it in that way, and then understand that God is there to help guide us through. And I would like to also say, don't compare yourself to other people. We have habit a lot of times of comparing ourselves to other people and thinking, I should be here by now. Why am I not in this place in my life? And maybe you should be. But the thing is, God knows where you are. He knows the choices that you were going to make. But sometimes, he'll let us go through things. But at some point, if we don't break those bad habits, he will break them for us. Things may happen. And that's where I'm coming from when I say we've made some bad decisions that maybe have gotten us in a place of rock bottom, so to speak. And we're wondering, how am I going to get out of this? Well, once again, you can get out of it. There are steps that you have to take. But like I said, the first thing is, don't keep revisiting that place of pain. The only time you need to look back at that place of pain is if you are being tempted to be a repeat offender. If you are being tempted to want to go back and do the same things that you were doing that got you in that position, remember what it felt like to be traumatized, so to speak. And yes, I did say traumatized. I was having a conversation with my daughter over the weekend, and she recently went through some things as well. And she said, Mom, I feel traumatized right now because of the outcome. Things worked out for her good, but what happened because of some bad decisions that she made, she had to experience in her mind, it was embarrassment. She didn't want to talk to us about it, but she did. And things worked out. Her dad came through and he took care of things for her, but it taught her a big lesson. So I will say it, and she even said, I feel traumatized. And I told her the same thing. I feel traumatized as well from the decision I made, the outcome of it. But at the same time, just like one of my sisters at church told me, that God is not trying to hurt you. He's trying to break some bad habits or some things off of you. So that's how we have to look at that. And also look at the things that have happened take it as an opportunity to rebuild in the way that you want, in the way that God wants you to, so to speak. If that's a good way to put it. And one thing I can say also is that I had to recognize, by revisiting that place of pain, my confidence sank to an all-time low. And it's easy to do. It's easy to allow that to happen, because now you're doubting yourself. You're doubting your decisions. You're doubting God, to be honest with you, because you feel like you're asking yourself, why didn't he get me out of that? How could he allow me to go through what I went through? He brought you out of it, but at the same time, he may not have brought you out in the way you expected. Once again, maybe there were some things that he needed to break off of you so that you would learn and not continue to repeat the same offense over and over again. So, but I will honestly say that I was so traumatized from my own experience, because we're used to God being there for us and just getting us through things, showing us that grace and that mercy. And when he kind of lets you fall a little further than you expected, then you will feel traumatized from it. And for me, once again, like I said, my confidence it did sink. And I started doubting myself, and I began to wonder, was I really hearing God in the way that I thought I was? It also made me feel like I wasn't fit to lead anyone based on my purpose of what God has placed in my life, what he's given me to do. I I didn't feel like I was fit for it anymore. I was fit for that role, so to speak, because I had made such bad decisions, poor choices. But the thing is, we're not perfect. God is the only one that is perfect. What he's doing is he's using me to help others based off of those choices that I've made, so that you don't have to do the same thing. And you don't have to blame yourself. You can stop yourself before you get to that point. And then you don't have to blame yourself, talk down to yourself and things like that. If you're doing these things to yourself already, then you know to stop, because that's the enemy. The enemy wants you to condemn yourself. God doesn't do that. God is love. So even though he may have let you fall a little further than you expected, he's still right there, and he's still going to use everything that you have gone through for your good, for the good of those that are called for his purpose. So know that. I firmly believe that, because I see it right now and what I'm doing just sitting here talking to you. So, and once again, I think I said this also, don't compare yourself to others. You have to run your own race, because God has a plan for each one of us. He already knows where we are in life. And like I said before, he can catapult us ahead. So don't worry about other people. Just stay in your lane. Pay attention to what you're doing. Get tunnel vision based off of what God has for you and move forward, because what anybody else is doing has nothing to do with you. And that's the bottom line. That's all I can say to that. We're each different, and we each have our own purposes and what we're supposed to be doing, and where we are right now at this point. Maybe someone else they've already done the work, and maybe you haven't, and you're in that place right now. He's preparing you for what he has for you. So that's why you can't compare, because you don't know at the end of the day what he's got for you. He may be taking you step by step, which is what he's doing with me right now. He may not reveal everything to you all at once. He's taking you step by step, and he's preparing you. So do not compare yourself to other people. Run your own race, because if you're comparing yourself, you will start feeling down, like, wait, why is this person here and I'm right here? You don't know what they've gone through. So all you can do is just worry about yourself for the most part. So seriously speaking, just worry about yourself. And the second thing why I want to say this also, accept the grace and the mercy that God has already given you. He's already forgiven you. He's already gotten you past that point. So accept that grace and that mercy and forgive yourself and move forward. So, and once again, that's the enemy. If you're still blaming yourself, you keep revisiting that pain, that's the enemy. Those thoughts that keep popping up in your mind, he wants to keep taking you there so you won't grow. Then now you're overthinking. When your confidence is low, you're overthinking, you remain stagnant, and you're not acting in the way that God needs you to. You're not moving forward in purpose. So you're going to have to just pick yourself up and keep it moving. That's all you can do. So, and then the second point is learn from the mistake. I mentioned that earlier. Learn from it. Get to the root of the problem. A lot of times, we're hurting. A lot of times we are hurting from things that have happened in our past, and we have not addressed those issues that we've had. And because we have not addressed them, we become, once again, repeat offenders. We're on a treadmill going nowhere, just going around and around in circles, making the same decisions, same mistakes over and over again, and we don't even recognize that that's what we're doing. All we're trying to do is we just want to feel better. Basically, you're reaching for vices, whether it's shopping, overeating, alcohol, drugs, whatever the case may be, different relationships and all this, we're doing these things and we know it's not right. But the thing is, you just want to feel better. But it's not really making you feel better. It's digging you deeper into it, just deeper down that rabbit hole. So that's why you want to stop now, surrender for sanity, give it all to God, and allow him to guide you. Allow the Holy Spirit to walk you through step by step what you need to do. Address those issues that you have, that hurt and that pain. See, when you start to address those issues, then you will begin to recognize those negative patterns before you start to repeat them again. So you can ask yourself, when you're at a point, just say, for instance, say if I'm dealing with low self-worth and if I get into an argument, just giving an example with my ex-husband or just anybody that may, maybe they trigger me in some way and say something disrespectful and it gets down on the inside. If I haven't healed from that, if I didn't know who I was, who God is in me and who I am in him, that I'm God's child. If I didn't know that, if I hadn't done my work, I would allow that to tear me down. And then what we'll do is reach for something to maybe validate ourselves, to start to feel better, affirm ourselves. So we may go out here and reach for, for me, it was shopping because I love interior design. So that's the one thing that I know that I can do. So instead of just being and recognizing what's going on, that it hurt, I would go out here and do something to validate myself. So maybe go shopping, spend money that I don't have and redo the whole house, not the whole house necessarily, but spend funds that I didn't have. And then once you spend the fund, I would spend it. And then I'm sitting and I'm wondering like, okay, now I got to take this back because this bill is due. I shouldn't have spent that. Now you're just running around, I'm running in circles, running back and forth, spending unwasted time and resources, because I was hurting, because I didn't recognize what it is that got me to that place of spending in the first place. But now what I do when I want to start those negative patterns all over again, I recognize what's going on. Okay, like I'm hurting because I'm lonely and I need to feel validated right now. So then, what can I do? Well, let's go shopping. That'll always make me feel better. I could, buy a new picture for the wall or whatever the case may be. But then I recognize, wait, if you don't have that budgeted, for extra funds for fun, in this pay or that money put away, then you can't do that. But then if you start making excuses, oh, I'm okay, I can pull it from here or there, or not even thinking about it, you just gonna shop anyways. Then at that point, that's when take a step back, like, wait a minute. And it might not be shopping for you. It could be eating. It could be whatever the case may be. And then you stop and you think like, wait, what am I doing here? I'm getting ready to become a repeat offender. You're doing the same thing, repeating that cycle all over again. So when you begin to recognize it, then you can say, what happened? Why is it that I'm wanting to go out and do things that I know that are going to put me in a bad situation? What was said? Did somebody say something? Did something happen? See, when you recognize and begin to ask those questions, you can get to the root of the problem and begin to understand like, hey, okay, I don't want to repeat this same behavior. You can pull yourself back and just pray and ask God, to comfort you. And first of all, recognize who you are and whatever the person said, or did, or however you were triggered, maybe you're going to have to distance yourself from these type people if they feel okay with hurting you in that way. And sometimes people don't even know that's what they're doing. But that was just giving you an example so you can begin to heal and not continue to repeat the negative patterns that keep you in that cycle of going nowhere. So that was point number 2. And I want to say also, point number 3, it's up to us to steward what God gives us properly. Now, even though God gives us things, he may give you a house, a car, financial gain or business relationships and things like that. You have to still do the work to maintain it. You have to steward what he gives you properly. So a lot of times we'll say, well, God gave me this. And we feel like because he gave it to us, then we don't have to do the work to keep it. We still have to do the work to keep it. So that means you still have to do the work on you, which is continue to surrender daily and allow God to lead you daily, because the enemy is right there waiting for you to fall into certain traps so he can get you all caught up. So just remember, continue to steward what God gave you. Just because he gave it to you does not mean you cannot lose it, because you can if you don't do the work. Let's see. And then this is the last thing here. I will say this: when you're doing the work to keep what God gave you or to maintain it, eliminate the distractions. A lot of times we don't recognize that we're so distracted by things that are that are not part of God's plan, things that don't belong. If it does not fit in what God has for you, if it's not what he said he wanted you to do, then get rid of it. God, the enemy is sneaky in that way. I'm going to tell you how. For instance, me on track doing what I'm doing right now, as far as ministering to others, as far as my purpose, him preparing me for my purpose and things like that. The enemy will come along. Somebody might call me to stage a house, and not to say there's nothing wrong with me getting out there and earning that extra income. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if that's not part of what God is doing with me right now, I have to say no. But because I love it, I love interior design. And that's one thing I have. There are several things that I can, per se, do to earn those extra streams of income: real estate, home staging, and interior design for other people, even writing, but that part of my life, I can see where God is closing that door. But sometimes, every now and again, someone will call me about staging, and it'll have me in that rat race of wanting to go check things out. Well, let's just go see, entertaining the thought of it. And then, like, for instance, I had one young lady to call me about staging. What was this place? It was oh God, goodness gracious. Like apartments for the elderly. It's like a place where they live, a building, but inside there are individual apartments, 1-2 bedroom apartments for seniors, and where they have someone on staff that cooks for them and everything. Really nice place. So she needed someone to stage a few of the model apartments so that when clients came in with their parents, maybe for, to see about purchasing or renting apartments for their elderly parents or whatever, they needed to be staged and fixed up really nice. And I was all excited about it. Sure, why not? Well, guess what? I went in this rat race of going there to visit. This young lady never even called me back. And I went through. Then when I did talk to her again, can you give me a proposal for my boss, just to make sure that, they'll go ahead and approve it? I took time out of my schedule to write that up for her, even after I had taken the time to go see this place. And I should have charged her a consultation fee, but I didn't. It's part of business. Those are things that you learn along the way. But you think some people will uphold the integrity of their own business, but they don't. Some people don't care. And then I had to recognize later on, I said, you know what? You shouldn't have entertained that in the first place. That was a distraction from the enemy. You have other things you're supposed to be doing right now. Simply because that part of my life, if it doesn't fit, I have to let it go. I already know I'm not staging in that way anymore because I don't have the larger pieces of furniture. I don't have a warehouse with all that stuff. I'm not doing all that anymore. But because she had things on site already, I was willing to go and earn what I would call quick extra money. But that's not what God wanted me to do. So we have to begin to recognize these things. And you might be wondering, well, how does that tie in with self-pity, moving past the self-pity and condemnation? And what I'm saying is we get distracted when we're feeling down on ourselves. We get distracted with so many things, and we're pulling from different directions just to feel better. And we're entertaining things that we shouldn't, not necessarily even vices and things like that, but even distractions in ways that are steering us away from purpose because we're just wanting to feel better. So we have to recognize these things and just stay on course is what I'm trying to say here. So that's about it, y'all. I will keep talking and talking and talking, but that's about it, I think. So just once again, let me go over these 3 points real quick. The first one is don't keep visiting that place of pain. The only time we should visit that place is when we're tempted to be repeat offenders. Let it be a learned lesson the first time you experience the trauma. The second point is learn from it by getting to the root of the problem. Number 3 is up to us to properly steward what God has already given us. So I hope that helps you guys, because that is something I just went through here this week. And I'm learning. So as I learn, I'm going to take you guys with me. But anyways, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And once again, I will comment down below And just go down into the comments, click on my picture there, go over to my page, which is Surrender for Sanity, and subscribe to my channel. I may upload one more video on the church platform. We shall see. But anyways, I will talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the remainder of your week. Talk to you later. Bye.